One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. What is up, everybody? Charlie here with JC3 Cards and Collectibles, back with another What's Selling weekly sales review. Every Sunday, I like to come out here and look at the week that was, see how my business is doing, see if we're growing, see what's hot in the store. Stu joins me here. He's always here for every shot we do. He's the heart and soul of this JC3 Cards and Collectibles business. We couldn't do it without him. So it's been a fun week. Had some great comments last week on the sales video that I did. So thank you for that. If you're joining us again today, I hope that you enjoy the content again today. If you're new here, make sure you're smashing that like button. Give me a subscribe if you'd like to see this more often. We do this every Wednesday. We always do some pickups for shows, and then every Sunday, I want to make it a habit to get out there and show how the previous week was. The whole premise of this is, well, I guess this week on live, the Dollar Box Live Wednesday night, we upgraded my status from novice to intermediate low end seller. So thank you, Adam, for giving me the seal of approval on that promotion there. But still, I have not been doing this very long. I've been doing it less than a year. So I like to share what I'm picking up, what I'm seeing. If you look around at some of my content, you'll see some of my how-tos and my setup here in my office space to do this reselling operation. It's really been great to me so far. I enjoy doing it. The whole family gets into it. They help me ship. They help me pick cards sometimes. Everyone is involved. Actually, that's where JC3 comes from. A little bit of trivia there. So JC3 stands for Jenny, Charlie, Creed, and Caleb. Creed and Caleb are my boys. Jenny's my wife, and it's a family business where we're all involved. So that's where we got JC3 from. It takes a while to go through this, and I want to get started on this right away. So with that, we're going to jump into how things look this week. And I like to start with just kind of I guess I would say kind of a analytic view of what we did for the week. So here you'll see basically some of the data from our performance page. You'll see our impressions there. They're down just slightly, 1.6%. Impressions, again, we talk about this every week. They are when your products are presented to a user that is just one click away from looking at something closer. So it's kind of, I used the analogy last week. It is kind of that storefront display in your window. Someone's walking down the sidewalk. They see your product in the store. And it makes them pause for a second and say, do I want to go in that store or do I want to keep walking? And promotions are what really are the key driver in your impressions. And that's my opinion. I think there's a lot of people that would support that decision as well. Really, I started doing promotions a few months ago, and I saw the impact on my store exponentially. Yes, you do have to pay for that. You only pay if an item sells, so they'll take a little bigger cut for that promotion, but it really helps in the impressions. You can see for me, about 745,751 impressions daily on that. Well, It's down 1.6%, but that's a negligible amount. I would say that is relatively stable. That you're hoping that translates into page views, which is that middle chart there. So page views, what do we got there? 1,036 page views. Those are what I would call walk-ins. That's the foot traffic in your store. So they see that impression, they click on it, they go in your store and take a closer look, and at least subliminally, they have an intent to buy something, because nobody goes in a store without the possibility of buying something, right? Well, rarely. You sometimes do some window shopping, browsing, but really, if you're going in, you're hoping you see something that really entices you to buy it. So there again, down 1.1%, really negligible. That number is going to fluctuate a little bit every week. So I'm not too concerned about that. That's pretty steady, actually. And then the last one there at the bottom, that is quantity sold. So I had 54 items sell this week. That is up 35% from last week. That's a very positive number for me. You can see it really came on strong at the end of the week yesterday. On Saturday, actually I had one buyer with a 15 card order, which really boosted that up. So really nice to see that. It represents growth in my store, and what I'm working for every day with all the actions I take in my store. So 54, that's a pretty modest number for me. Now that I'm at that intermediate status, I'm going to have to continue growing that. But that's 8 cards a day, roughly. That is a number that I can still handle pretty easily with my 1-day shipping standards. Make sure I hit that for my top seller status. So it's a number that is scalable for me. I still have room to grow, but that is up from when I started doing this. I may sell 5 cards a week, and it was a lot of days where I would get skunked and have no sales. And then I started to maybe sell 1 or 2 a day for a while, and now I'm doing 5 to 8 a day. So it continues to grow. It's not something you can really jump from 0 to 100 a day overnight. I don't think you would want to do that, because you will find as you go through this journey that it takes a little bit of refining processes and understanding what works for you to be able to handle more volume. All right, moving on. So where are my sales coming from for this past week? A little bit of a shift. We had a lot more WWE cards last week. They were a big chunk of my sales. This week, it was more of the standards. So you'll see almost a third football. And then coming up second and third, very strong, were baseball and basketball. So that's not all that surprising. I would expect football to lead the way. It is the playoffs. It's hot. It's now. Everybody's talking about it. Super high interest levels in football right now for a few more weeks. So I would continue that trend to continue. What did pick up a little bit was baseball as we get closer to spring training. We're hearing more talk about spring training in the media cycles. Let's see, it's less than a month away now for pitchers and catchers to report. So those hot prospects are really starting to be a topic of interest. And then we've got the basketball season going on. So about 17% of my sales for the week were basketball. Still in the heart of the season for that, so that should continue for a while. The rest are made up with a little more onesie-twosie type of sales. A good chunk of auto racing this week, and that was mostly NASCAR. I didn't sell as much F1 this week. Then had a couple good sales for MMA and wrestling. I sold a Game of Thrones card, an auto card from Game of Thrones. That was pretty cool to see that move. Some history. I've got some Washington Chronicles cards and was able to sell one of those this week. And then some hockey, some Marvel cards, which continue to move steadily, not necessarily high volume, but I will sell one every week or two. little bit of soccer and some Star Wars as well this past week. So we talk about diversifying your store, having a lot of different offerings. I really believe in that philosophy, and I continue to build towards that. If I think about my inventory in my store, what is the majority of it? Well, if I were to pull a current inventory report by category, I think you would still see baseball as number one for me. The vast majority of listings are baseball. That's what I started with from a collection to start moving into the area of selling. And then football and basketball are also going to be pretty big chunks of inventory. Everything else is going to be significantly smaller numbers, but the more I build those up, the more I'll start seeing sales in those. So, with the exception of maybe Star Wars, every one of the bigger chunks you see here kind of have a corresponding bigger chunk of inventory in my store. So there's a direct correlation there. Star Wars, I have quite a bit, but it sells more sporadically. I have some vintage Star Wars. I have some modern Star Wars, and actually, that's a great point. The bigger chunk of my Star Wars inventory is ultra modern, and that is not as good a seller as some of the vintage, the original Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi sets. Those, there are more collectors out there, I believe. I do sell some of the ultra modern stuff, but it tends to be more the inserts, the numbered cards, the parallels, things like that. Whereas with the vintage sets, those are common cards. Those are the base sets, a lot of rookie character cards, if you will. So rookie Boba Fett, rookie Yoda, things like that, rookie Darth Vader. It makes me chuckle all the time talking about rookie cards with Star Wars characters, but it really is. It's their first card. And by that definition, you can substitute the word rookie for really any category. All right, moving on. Let's look at the breakdown a little bit of what cards made up those sales. So, as we said, the biggest bucket was football for the week. You can see quite a few football cards go there. Let's see. Let's just go down the list. We've got a 2001 Pacific Prism Atomic Warren Sapp that I sold for $175. That's the center card. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to click ahead. It's a center card in the bottom row. It's a nice die cut card. I thought it was sharp. I picked it up one day. Took me a few weeks to sell that, but I was able to turn that. Next up, a 2022 Panini Mosaic. Patrick Mahomes, will to win, so the Chiefs stay hot. As we speak, I see they're up 17-7 on Baltimore in the third quarter of the playoff game. I won't give you any more updates because I don't want to wreck this game for anybody who's listening to this and maybe hasn't seen the game yet. Got $3 for that. So that's a nice insert sale. 2015 Panini Contenders touchdown tandem. So that's Eli Manning and Odell Beckham on that. Was able to get $275 on that insert. And that's a cool card. I wouldn't say I sell a ton of it. So if you look over to third one on the right-hand column, third one from the top, that is that Manning and Odell card. It's pretty sharp. I was really pleased to get $275 for that. 2022 Prism Fireworks Christian McCaffrey 49ers. McCaffrey's still hot. The 49ers are a good bet to win the Super Bowl. I got $3 for that one. McCaffrey, I think, is going to continue to sell for a while yet. He's up in the top right-hand column there. You can see that fireworks card. It's a pretty nice insert as well. Up next, the 2017 Panini Donruss Rookie Gridiron Kings Alvin Kamara. I've got $4 on that one. So second row from the bottom, about 3 from the left-hand border, you'll see that Rookie Kings. I've had that card pretty much since day one of being a seller. Kamara got himself into some trouble in the last year. There were moments I thought I might not be able to move this card anymore. So I was really happy to get $4 on that this week. 2022 Panini Mosaic National Pride Camel Pink Prism of Dak Prescott from the Cowboys. So that pink prism, if you see the football category, column in my listing. It's right underneath that. You can see them on the run there. Nice sale on that. I got $5 for that. Up next, the 2022 Panini Mosaic Reactive Orange Prism. Amon-Ra St. Brown. So again, Lions are hot. They're still in the playoffs. They're going to be going against the 49ers later today. Was able to get $3 for that Amon-Ra St. Brown card. If you look in the bottom right corner, it is one over from the right. You got that reactive orange paneling on that card. I'm a fan of the Mosaic Prism cards. I know they're not the highest end cards, but I think they look sharp, and there seem to be a lot of buyers for those. Up next, the 2022 Panini Mosaic Thunder Lane of Lamar Jackson. Again, a playoff team player. He's over here on the left-hand column, third one from the top. Anybody in the playoffs right now is still hot. So I try to make sure I list anything I have for them out there, and they continue to move. 2021 Panini Mosaic AFC Variation Camel Red Prism of Tyreek Hill from his time with the Chiefs. So bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that one. That one I was able to get $2 on. I do think it's a little tougher to sell cards of a player after they change teams. I think you would likely find more Dolphins cards of Hill go out these days. So I was happy to sell that Camel Red Prism and get $2 for that. Speaking of Dolphins Tyreek Hill, the next card on the list is a 2022 Panini Donruss Complete Factory Set Press Proof Premium Tyreek Hill. So this was out of a factory set. It is a premium quality card. It's got a nice refractor finish on that. You will see that if you go to the bottom left and go 3 in, right next to the Warren Sapp, you'll see it's got a nice shine to it. It's got kind of a golden refractor finish to it. I got quite a few offers on that. I did end up selling that one for $4. Up next, 2021 Panini Contenders Winning Ticket, Patrick Mahomes. So again, Patrick Mahomes is hot. He's going to stay hot for a while. If you go to the bottom row there and 2 in from the left, so you'll see that winning ticket. It's got a purple color to it. I like the design of some of these Panini inserts. I know there's quite a few of them out there. Some will argue that Panini does too much of this kind of stuff, but they are fun. And that's one of the qualifications for a good card to flip. Should be shiny and fun, right? So that certainly fit the bill. 2022 Contenders Touchdown Tandems, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So upper left column here, you'll see that one. It's a lot like the earlier one with Manning and Odell Beckham. But, of course, we've got the Chiefs. Moving those Chiefs left and right these days. 2022 Panini Illusions, Lamar Jackson. So Illusions is a basic set, but it's got a real good look to it. A lot of people like them. It is in the bottom row there on the right side of Warren Sapp. You'll see that's got that little refractor finish to it as well, and it's got the dual image. Kind of that one image is always kind of that ghostly, I would call it a ghostly finish. It's, you got to kind of turn the card a little bit to get a good view of it. I just think for a base card, they're a sharp design. Up next, 2020 Panini Playoff Jordan Love rookie card for the Green Bay Packers. So left-hand column, second from the top, you will see that's a pretty basic playoffs rookie card, but Jordan Love proved this year that he belongs. And I think there's a lot of excitement going forward that he is going to be third in a chain of, all pro quarterbacks for the Green Bay Packers. 2022 Panini Gold Standard, one of my favorite sets, Gold Standard. Out of 99, rookie Jahan Dotson for the Washington Commanders. So right-hand column, second from the top, you got a refractor finish on that. It's a gold-colored card. Jahan Dotson's got a lot of excitement with the Commanders. I pick up just about any Gold Standard card I find in value boxes. I think it's one of those sets that are an easy turn. And then finally on the football list this week, 2023 Bowman U Chrome, J.J. McCarthy of national champion Michigan Wolverines. So they remain hot yet. A couple weeks removed from the national championship game. I've sold a bunch of Blake Corum. I've sold some J.J. McCarthy. I think I've got a Donovan Edwards I've been getting offers on. I haven't quite moved yet, but I continue to get interest on. So riding that media wave of that college national champion and moving some cards for them as well. So all in all, a really strong week for football. Happy with the sales I was able to make. Follows pretty strongly those NFL playoffs with a couple older cards mixed in. The Kamara, the Warren Sapp. Always really cool to get those sales in there. And actually, I see I did skip a review of one card in here. I missed the 2020 Panini Donruss Legends of the Fall Patrick Mahomes. He's in the bottom right corner. That is probably what I feel is like the coolest looking card today in my sales. That Legends of the Fall is just, it's a clean, kind of a classic design for an insert. It's got a good image, good design on it. If I were to look to keep a card out of what I sold this week, that might be one. That might be one I would think about for holding on to represent Patrick Mahomes. I just think that's a really cool design. All right. So what do you think of the football sales this week? Did they make sense? Are they what you thought they would be? I think most would say, yeah, follow the playoffs. It's what's hot. We got a little national championship carryover. So, and then we talk about some significant names in some of those older cards as well. Guys that really made an impact in the league, at least for a while. So hit up the comments. Let me know what you think of those football sales. What was your favorite sale on that? Anything you think I should have asked for more on? Something I took a little less for than maybe you would have? Let me know your thoughts on those. Then let's move on to baseball. I thought baseball was a fun collection of cards this week. Quite a few cards on the baseball list there. You can see some older stuff from the 90s. You can see some modern stuff. What stands out to me is stained glass on a couple of cards there. That theme, always a sharp theme. It's one of my favorite designs as well. Let's go down the list here, see what we got. So first we've got 2020 Topps Holiday Metallic Snowflake Luis Robert rookie card. I always feel like I am one of the only fans of Topps Holiday. I find a lot of them in holiday or in value boxes, and I find myself always talking to dealers saying, "Hey, I took quite a few Topps Holiday. It doesn't seem like you got a lot of people looking for those, so I'm helping you out. Can you cut me a deal on that?" But I actually had someone looking for one this week. The metallic snowflakes are, if you think of them kind of like an insert for that. They're not super rare, but they put little flecks of, I think it's like a chromium material in the snowflakes. So they catch the light and sparkle a little bit when you move the card. They're not as rare as the Santa hats and the necklaces of Christmas lights and all the candy cane bats, those types of fun things that they do. But the metallic snowflake is definitely something I would buy to move more frequently than I do the regular common base cards in that set. 2020 Topps Update Randy Arozarena rookie card for the Rays. Where's Randy? Right-hand column, third from the top. A nice photo of him in his backswing at the plate. He's an exciting player. I think he will continue to have some hobby and have some resale value, just because he's a baseball player with a lot of attitude and what's the word I'm looking for? He's got a personality. That's what I'm looking for. Anytime you get an interview with him, he's going to do something exciting. He's not kind of staunchy and old school where, he will hit a home run and sit there and enjoy it. I've seen him rob someone of a home run and then mean mug out at the wall for 30 seconds before he comes in and throws the ball in. Just a fun player. So I do try to grab some of his cards where I can. Up next, the 2022 Topps Stadium Club Julio Rodriguez rookie card for the Seattle Mariners. Not one of the highest end cards. I talk a lot in all my videos about how I'm a big fan of Topps Stadium Club. So you will find Julio here in the left-hand column, third from the top. In the background, you see the Corona advertisement on the stadium wall. He looks like he just hit a home run and he's going into his trot. Just a classic type of card, in my opinion. But what I always love about the Topps Stadium Chrome is the full bleed photography. I think it just looks sharp. I got $250 for that. Up next, and I guess I didn't mention what I got on these last couple, but biggest seller in those last couple was that metallic snowflake Topps Holiday for Luis Robert. I've got $4 for that, $2 for Randy Arozarena, and then $250 for J-Rod for that rookie. It's a pretty common rookie. That's why you're not going to get a whole lot for it. Up next, 1994 Topps pre-production sample of Wade Boggs with the New York Yankees. One of the greatest Yankees to ever lace them up. I got $3 for that. That card is, let's see, where do I have that? Left-hand column, second one from the top. So that is a pre-production card. It's a nice image on the top. It's a horizontal image. Looks like he is turning 2 at third base, actually. But if you flip that card over, you'll see a stamp that says pre-production. So it makes it a little unique. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, but not as many as the full printed set. So I was able to get $3 for that. I assume that is a diehard collector there. Up next, the 2023 Bowman Platinum Blue out of 150 Matt Wallner rookie card for the Twins. So Bowman Platinum, that'll be in the bottom right corner. That's a player I don't even know at all, but I will list a lot of the rookies and prospects from Bowman Platinum. They've got a nice shiny finish on them, almost refractor-like, but they are not refractors in the truest sense. But they will catch a little light. Just they're low cost. I think a lot of people like those. I was able to turn that one for $350, being a rookie card, and serial numbered out of 150. 1994 Barry Bonds Upper Deck Home Run All Stars. This is one of those lenticular cards, holographic image in there. You can see in the foreground is Barry Bonds. So this is top upper left. Barry Bonds in the foreground signing a baseball. In the background is that holographic design. So you can see Barry Bonds in full swing. I like those. I think they're cool. They add a photo with some depth. I know it was really popular in the 90s. It's not as much anymore, but maybe the nostalgia is what makes me like that as much as I do, but it really takes me back to that time. I sold that for $1.50. I probably got that for 10 cents. Up next, a 1981 Fleer George Brett MVP Kansas City Royals. Sold that for $1.50 as well. So if you go to the bottom right, that is one in from the right and the bottom row. Nice profile shot of George Brett. I became aware of George Brett through the games against the Brewers in my younger years. Brett and Robin Yount were kind of super talented young players on their respective teams, and seemed to be kind of connected because of that. So it led to me following Brett through my Brewers, actually. So I've got a few of his. I sell them every once in a while. He's a Hall of Fame player. Not going to get a lot of money, as you can see. I sold that for $1.50, but if you can get it for 10 cents or less, that's a decent flip. Up next, 2021 Panini Prism Stained Glass Aaron Jones, New York Yankees. So this is actually Aaron Judge. The reason I left that there is because I wanted to acknowledge, hey, sometimes I make a mistake on my listings too, especially when you're getting thousands of listings. I think it's going to happen at some point. So I live in Green Bay. Packers are on the news all the time. Must have had Aaron Jones on the brain. And when I listed this Aaron Judge stained glass card, which is in the bottom row, 3 from the left, I mistakenly put Aaron Jones. Well, I had a buyer make some offers to me on it. and we negotiated back and forth. I eventually accepted $4 for that one because the stained glass and Aaron Judge combination is just, in my mind, it's awesome. I'm not even a Yankees fan, but I would say that's awesome. But I did, in the course of working through offers, I also messaged the buyer and I said, "Hey, I'm sure you noticed this, but in the interest of being perfectly transparent and clear on this, I would like to accept your offer, but I need to know that you understand this is Aaron Judge, not Aaron Jones." Because I didn't want, if I didn't say that, Murphy's Law, it would be that one buyer that didn't really pay attention, and they would get the card and they'd be like, "Wait a minute, this isn't Aaron Jones. I was buying Aaron Jones." Why someone would think they were buying Aaron Jones on that, I don't know. I think most people look at the image, but my mindset was, if I don't call it out, it'll be my luck that that becomes an issue. So, moving on from there, we got an old school player, 1990 Topps Coins, Mickey Tettleton for the Baltimore Orioles. That is right under the list here on the right side of the list, kind of underneath the baseball category column. So those are, some people call them milk caps. Topps official name for them was coins. They're about a little under a quarter-inch thick, so I am able to ship that in a standard envelope. The rigidity may be questionable, but since it only takes about the space of a 50-cent piece, those are pretty manageable. Actually, I've got more of these. Let me show you. Let me show you a live shot of these so you get an idea of exactly what they are if you're not familiar. So I've got, I'll flip over here. I've got actually a whole sheet of these that I recently got listed. I initially put just a couple out there. I think I sold Kirby Puckett, a couple other Hall of Famers, but they are not very big. You can see my thumb over one of those. Not a whole lot bigger than my thumb. But I think they're kind of cool. I like having them out there. I think it's something different. I certainly am finding some buyers for them. This is probably the fourth or fifth one now I've sold. And this one I only had listed for a couple days out there, actually. So they're not big money items, but I think some collectors get them for the fun factor. I took $2.99 for that one. Up next, we've got 2010 first Bowman, Anthony Rizzo from the Boston Red Sox. So I don't know how many people remember he started with the Boston Red Sox. That is bottom row right next to the Aaron Judge stained glass. So 3 from the right. I felt like I took a little bit of a low offer on this one. I took $2. I wanted to get closer to 3. But for whatever reason, at that moment, I took 2, and I think I could have done better than that. Again, I encourage you to place your comments out there. Let me know what you think of some of these sales. Would you have gone higher? Would you have gone lower? Do you think I hit it on the head? Any of these surprise you? Things like that. Let me know. Your feedback is helpful to me as I continue to grow through this business and part of this hobby as well. Up next, the 2022 Panini Prism stained glass Bryce Harper with the Philadelphia Phillies. I got $3 for that. That's also in the bottom row, second from the left. So that is the full stained glass background. I think that is much cooler than the Aaron Judge, which just has a couple windows behind it. I will buy these stained glass ones all day if I see them. The problem is I don't see them a lot in the value boxes. I probably paid 50 cents for this Bryce Harper because it is a full stained glass one. But to turn that for $3, I make a nice little profit on that. Up next, 2023 Topps Allen and Ginter, Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Angels. Can't wait to get my hands on some LA Dodgers Shohei cards. In fact, I've got one coming from Topps now. Excited to see that and get that in my hands. I got $1.50 for that. That is just a common base card from Allen and Ginter. You're not going to look for much for that. I think I put that out there at $1.99. I accepted $1.50 offer. That you're going to have some of those very low end cards that you're just going to look for volume on those. Certain names are cards you believe you're going to sell on a regular basis. And if you can make 50 cents on 200 cards, well, now you're talking about something, right? You don't have to have that huge seller in that kind of space. Up next, 1999 Topps Gold Label Class 1, Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, who Adam over at the Dollar Box will tell you is the greatest Yankee who ever lived. I think that's debatable, but hey, to each their own, right? That one was again, a Topps Gold Label, one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite sets I talked about with other cards that I will buy them anytime I see them in a value box. It isn't a top right. I don't know if you can see that with the StreamYard logo. Unfortunately, covering that up a little bit. It is a sharp looking card. It's got a nice finish on it. It's got that refractor finish on it. And Derek Jeter is a mover. Adam's right about that. Whether you think he's the greatest Yankee of all time or not, he is a great in terms of low-end resellers. So I was able to get $3 for that. I'm positive I paid like 20 cents for that. And then finally, the last baseball card here on the day, 1999 Topps Stadium Club Never Compromise insert, again of Derek Jeter. So that's my another second Derek Jeter this week. That one I sold for $2. That's right underneath the Gold Label card we just talked about. So second from the top in that right-hand column. It's got kind of a dual image there. I thought that was kind of a weird image display. I thought the choice with that kind of double vision type thing was weird. In fact, the first time I looked at it, I was like, is that a print error? Is that a miscut? Something doesn't seem right. And then I looked at a bunch of other examples of that particular card, and they all look the same. So I was like, okay, this is the real thing. It was just a weird choice of photography. But again, Topps Stadium Club, love it. I like to check them out when I'm picking them out of boxes. There are certain cards that I kind of go over front and back and really look at closely about what was the artistry of this card. And that's where Topps Stadium Club comes in. Like I enjoy those cards while I have them in my possession before I turn around and sell them. And there are a lot of people that I think agree with that because they sell pretty good. So, all right, that takes us through our baseball cards, a pretty good collection and random variety of baseball cards. So again, we're in the off season, so a little different in that you don't see a lot of prospects there for this season. Well, one of the reasons for that is I have not really stocked up and listed a lot of prospects for this upcoming season yet. The flagship product is still a little bit of ways before it comes out. The pre-orders are out there, but I believe we got a week or two yet before it'll be on the shelves. So that's, I believe, why you don't see a lot of prospects. But with people talking about baseball, they start getting some of these vets and some of these older cards and things like that. You get a lot of collectors that are kind of year-round as well, looking to fill out their collections. So it's the bulk of what I have in my inventory. So I continuously see a good chunk of sales from baseball every week. All right. What do we got next? We got basketball, the number 3 selling group for the week in my store. A little bit smaller list there. Some nice cards, though, that went. Some fun things. I had a sale of 2 of the same card, which I listed individually because the color tones were just slightly different, even though they were the same card. They were from that Fleer metal set, and sometimes you'll see that with that metal finish. So up first, we got a 2021 Panini NBA Hoops Slam of Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. Top left corner, you'll see that is a reproduction of that Slam magazine cover. These seem to sell pretty good. I know Adam recently at the Dollar Box had a couple of these in his pickups or sales videos as well. So I think they're a desirable insert that some people look for. I got $5.50 for this one for Trae Young. Absolutely certain that I paid about 20 cents for this one. So a nice tidy profit on that one as well. Up next, we've got the duplicate sale of a 97 Skybox Metal Universe. The answer, Allen Iverson with the Philadelphia 76ers. So what's interesting about this one is this is the same buyer for both of these. One had a little brighter yellow finish than the other. One was a little duller yellow. One was a really bright yellow. I was able to get different amounts on each card. And I didn't know which one was the brighter one, which one was the duller one. I'd have to go back to my sales and see with the images. And I only presented one image here, but I got $2.50 for one and $3 for the other. So it's interesting, you know, it ends up being a little more than $2.50 a card here. But it's interesting that just that different color on the card, different tone of yellow, granted me an opportunity to get a little different return on the card as well. Up next, 2021 Panini Donruss Crunch Time insert, Jason Tatum of the Celtics. I got $7 on this card. I like the Crunch Times. They are inserts that go across multiple sports sets in that Donruss brand. So they have them in UFC cards. I've seen them. I get quite a few of them in the UFC cards. But I also have quite a few basketball ones. So really cool to appreciate and enjoy these when I have them in hand. But I am also very happy to get $7 on a sale for one of those. Up next, 2019-2020 Panini Select Premier Level Maroon Die Cut out of 175. So bottom right corner on this one, you'll see that maroon die cut. That is a Chris Paul from Oklahoma City Thunder. I was able to get $4 for that one. I'm a big fan of die cuts, especially if they're refractors. I will pick them up anytime I see them in a die cut. It pretty much doesn't matter who the player is. If I see die cut, and especially if I see die cut and refractor combined, I'm picking it up. This one in particular, it was a no-brainer because it was serial numbered out of 175 as well. So nice little $4 sale on that. A 1996-97 Skybox Premium Michael Jordan with the Chicago Bulls. This is, I would consider this a very iconic image. He's going up to dunk. He's got the tongue wagging out of his mouth. This is a card that, first of all, I got $7.50 for this card. I think I listed it at $9.99. I took the offer at $7.50. I had this card set aside for a while. I considered, to the naked eye, it looked really clean. The corners were good. And I thought, boy, I think I'm going to get this card graded because graded, if I remember right, I think it was going for over $100, $125, maybe pushing $200, something like that. Then I got it under a magnifying lens and I really started to notice some little microscopic things. And I said, all right, I grade everything PSA. Panini's not going to give me a 10 on this. I'll probably get an 8. If I'm lucky, I'll get a 9. Well, then the value proposition of getting it graded goes away. Still, though, like I said, naked eye, you would say, ooh, this could get a 10. So I knew that there was still a lot of value in that. It's going to be a great card for someone to display in the raw or have in their collection. Heck, I considered keeping that to just put on a shelf in a raw status in a top loader or a one touch, just because it is such an iconic pose of Jordan. But $7.50 is a nice sale on that, I think. 1998-99 top season's best Kevin Garnett of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I've got a number of these inserts, and they all have different titles at the top. So there's scorers, there's soarers, there's gosh, I can't think of the other ones, but each type of player is grouped with a little slogan for kind of what they're known for. Very cool. They've got a shimmery finish on them. I've sold a couple of them now. So this Kevin Garnett one I sold for $3.99. And I think that's really basically just on the design of the card. 1992-93 Topps highlights. Another listing error. You can see Instead of an S, I have an M in highlights and no space between the number. But that was another Michael Jordan, and that was a blemish card. It had a little like coffee stain. You won't even, I don't think you can even see it in this image. So right hand column, the middle card there, Jordan shooting a jump shot. Up in the top right of that card, there is just a small little dark coffee colored spot. So I sold that for $1.25. I actually put that out in an auction. I don't do a lot of auctions, but I put that out in a 99-cent auction just to see what I would get. I had 2 bidders on it, and it sold for $1.25. So did I lose money on that? Not really. I bought that in a lot of cards. I think I paid $40 for the lot, and I think I ended up paying like 10 cents a card in that. So it won't be much profit, but it was just as valuable as a learning experience on that. Okay, I have a card that's not perfect. It's got a clear blemish on it. Is there still a market for that? And for the right price, it looks like there is. And then finally, 2022-23 Panini Select Premier Blue Prism, Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets. I got $2.69 for that. He is in top right corner there. Pretty sharp card. Really nothing too special. $2.69 is driven mostly off his name, and that's actually a counter that a buyer came back with. I tend to stay at pretty rounded numbers on the quarters. So I would have said like 275, and I'm sure this guy came back and said 269. I said, okay, let's do it. So nice little handful of cards there from basketball. It's not my strongest suit. I don't watch a lot of basketball. I don't pay attention to a lot of news on basketball. I don't know all the young rookie names very well. In fact, Adam and I were at that Eau Claire card show on Friday, and we're going through a lot of basketball, and we're looking at each other going, I don't even know who a lot of these guys are, because I think we've both gotten a little out of touch with the game. I mean, Adam will be the first to tell you he doesn't watch sports at all. I do watch sports, but basketball isn't one I log a lot of time in. So I think I'm always going to struggle making basketball big sellers in my store, just because I don't pick as much inventory on that. And I probably leave some things on the table that I should grab just because I need to build more knowledge of current names in basketball. I mean, I can go back to the 90s and talk about a lot of players then, but ultra modern stuff, man, I'm not where I need to be, and it's an area of improvement that I want to work on. So let me know what you think of the basketball cards. Decent little group here. Couple older players, Iverson, Jordan, Kevin Garnett. I would consider, a little bit older player now too. But a couple young players too. Trae Young, Joker is in there. Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, I think is still relevant and playing it. So interesting kind of mix of cards. If you think I left anything on the table with some of these sales, or if I'm getting more than you would have expected, let me know. I encourage the feedback. And then got a combo slide here of kind of some of those smaller baskets of cards categories. We've got some WWE in here, some auto racing, and some MMA. Decent sales here. So we'll start with the auto racing. 2022 Chronicles Clearly Donruss, Richard Petty. So you will see him. Let's see. I've sold 2 Richard Petty's, and both were acetate cards. One of my current favorites are acetate cards. I'm trying to build up a lot of inventory on these because I think they're going to continue to grow in popularity. So I sold a Clearly Donruss and a 2022 Chronicles Clear Vision. So those 2 Richard Petty cards you can see in kind of that middle row, starting left to right. There's one of his later years on the left-hand column, and then in the center of the screen, you'll see a flashback video of him from his early days of racing. You can see even the gear back then. He's just in jeans and a shirt, and then he's got an older hat on. I think that's actually an old racing helmet. They certainly have changed a lot over the years, but I love the clear designs, the see-through acetate. I will continue to be buyers on that, and I believe that I will continue to be able to sell those as well. Each of those went for $350. So not a bad sale. $7 for the 2 cards. You know, I'm getting those for definitely less than 30 cents a piece. And then also a Chronicles Clear Vision Danica Patrick. So she's in that middle row again, but on the right hand column. You know, she's no longer racing either, but her name's still relevant in the sport. I got 225 for her. Again, one of those acetate clear cards. I just think there's a market for them, so I'm going to continue buying them. Up next, we've got a couple WWE cards. So it's interesting. I sold quite a few. If you watched the sales video last week, I sold quite a few WWE cards last week. This week, not quite as many. I only sold 2, and they're both of the same character, The Undertaker. So he is an iconic wrestler. He didn't even spend his entire career in the WWE. He started off in the WCW for a little bit. But the Undertaker character started in the WWE, and he maintained that through his entire 20-plus year career with the WWE. So the first one I sold was 2023 Panini Prism, Red Prism, out of $2.99. That's in the top right corner. I fielded a lot of offers on this one. A lot of them were low. I had to be patient with this one to get what I wanted on this. So I did end up taking a $6 offer on this one. I feel good about that. As you know, I'm in dollar boxes. I don't pay a lot when I buy these. I think I paid up a little bit for that one. It might have been around 50 cents. But a $6 sale on a 50-cent purchase is pretty good. The other one is a base card from Chronicles. 2022 Panini Chronicles Undertaker. I got $250 for that. Nothing to sneeze at. $250 for a base card. That's very common. Those, I think, just depend on the image in the WWE world. So you've got him with his iconic hat. That's a specific pose that he would look for in the ring. He would slowly take his hat off. I think that's what he's in the process of doing. So that elicits a lot of memories. Cards like that are going to be a good flip. And then 2 MMA cards for the week. Both are Hall of Famers, classic fighters. The 2010 Topps UFC main event, George St. Pierre. That's got a little holographic finish on it. That is the bottom row to the left. You'll see him in the middle of throwing looks like a straight right. He was a game changer in the UFC. I sold that one for $275. And then the last card in this group is a 2022 Panini Donruss Optic, Chuck Liddell. So base Donruss Optic. But Donruss Optic is a nicer brand. You've got a better quality image than the regular Donruss. Chuck Liddell is a Hall of Famer. He was another guy with a lot of personalities. You can see him there with the mohawk. He never shied away from attention. I think off the mat too, like he has some guest spots in some movies, maybe like some of those Untouchable, Expendable movies. Like he has a personality that stands out and sticks with a lot of people. So I will pick up Chuck Liddell cards a lot. In fact, I think I got a Hall Monitor one just the other day in Eau Claire. So that's our auto racing, WWE, mixed martial arts. I know a lot of people don't really dabble in these areas. For me, they're fun sells. WWE is a household thing in our house. MMA, I spent a lot of years really as a pretty big fan of MMA. Auto racing is something new to me. I buy auto racing because I know they have a huge fan base. That fan base, I think they play a lot in low-end cards. So I buy them because I think they can be foundational cards. I don't sell a ton every week. You'll see that as we go along in these sales videos. I don't get a ton of money for them either, but they're slow, steady sellers because there's a big market out there. And then I think this is our last slide today. We've got a few more oddball sales, non-sports. Well, actually, I got a hockey card in here, so it's not all non-sport, but they were kind of those onesie-twosie category sales. So starting off the list, you'll see 2022 Game of Thrones Volume 2 Limited Edition Auto. Jazzy DeLizer as Tansy. nice on-card autograph on that. I got $12 for that. Was asking a little bit more. Wasn't seeing quite the interest as I thought I would. So Game of Thrones has a huge following. It was a dominant show on HBO. It has been off the air for probably 4 years now. They've already had a spin-off series going, House of the Dragon. So it's a little dated, but I recently picked up a box. Actually got it at a nice discount because I had a MVP buyback card that I got like $40 worth of rebates on from MVP buybacks and Topps Chrome. And I used that to basically pay for half of this Game of Thrones box, which guaranteed me 3 autos. This is the lowest end auto of the 3 I received, just based on character popularity. You know, it wasn't one of the main characters. So $12 on this I thought was a decent sale for me. I would have liked to have gotten closer to 15, but sometimes you adjust based on the level of views and watchers you're getting, and I felt like this being the lowest end of the autos I had, let's get that going. Up next, history set, 2022 Washington Chronicles Alloy Refractor of General Robert E. Lee. I got $8.99 for this, so a nice refractor finish on it. It wasn't numbered. There's still a big following for the Confederacy and Dixie down south. For me, it's all about the historical aspects of this. So there is a chance to get some autos and things like that in that set. So I did buy 1 box just to check it out. $8.99. You know, I think that's a big chunk of what I paid for the box. So can't really complain about that. That's a nice sale out of a kind of a selective buyer set. So hopefully I can sell some more out of that set. I haven't listed a whole lot out of it yet. I just kind of grabbed the inserts and some of the refractors. But I will get the rest of those listed out soon and see what I can do with that. Next up, a 1997 Upper Deck 3-star selects die cut Brett Hull from the St. Louis Blues. That's the top right corner. You know, I've already talked about my affinity for die cuts, and I think there's a great market for those. I'm trying to grow in the hockey side of things. Again, another sport that I don't watch a lot of. I know some of the older names. I don't know a lot of the newer names. I'm trying to get more up to speed on that. I actually bought a blaster of hockey yesterday to kind of help get familiar with some of these guys. So I got $3 for that. Hall of Famer, I believe, in Brett Hull. 1994 Fleer Ultra X-Men Dream Triptych Blue Team Gambit and Psylocke combo card, and it's got a red foil on it. I got $7.50 for that. I've got a full set of these. So these were an insert set. I've got the full, I think it's like 72 card set. I finally got to listing some of these in this past week, and this one sold right away. And I would say Gambit and Psylocke are kind of some of the lower end mutants in that set, and in terms of popularity. So I was really pleased to get $7.50 on that one, because I still have, you know, Cyclops and Storm and a lot of these other Wolverine. I have a lot of other characters like that featured in the set yet that I still am in the process of listing. So I think I will get more on those ones. Which, by the way, you know, $7.50 is a big chunk of what I paid for the whole set. So those will end up being good flips. Next up, a 2021-22 Panini Mosaic FIFA, I should say, Road to the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo in his Portugal kit. I got $4 for that one. I had fielded a number of offers that were really lowball offers. Finally had someone come along that was offering close to my asking price, and I said, sure thing, let's make a deal. And then to finish this off, 2 Star Wars cards this week. First up, a 2019 Topps Star Wars Rise of Skywalker insert. It's called a continuity card. That is in the right-hand column in the middle. It's all in black. It is Kylo Ren. Pretty cool design on that one, which is what I believe makes it sell. So I was happy to get that one moving as well. I haven't had that listed all too long. And then finally, a 2021 Star Wars Masterwork 50th anniversary out of $2.99. So that's a Lucasfilms anniversary insert for Attack of the Clones. So really highlights the promos for that movie. I got $7 for that. Really a sharp card. It's got a nice holographic finish on it. It's a little bit thicker. I've got a few of the inserts from that set. So I'm hoping that I continue that kind of progress with those cards. So a nice group of sales there in the non-sports, one hockey card. Let me know what you think about some of these. Are these areas that you look to sell in? Are they things you stay out of? You'll hear Adam and I from the Dollar Box always talking about we're on the lookout for non-sports when we go into card shows. I know in Eau Claire, Adam made a great score on some non-sport cards. I wish I could have got myself, but he beat me to the table, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So a new feature in my weekly sales video here. It's called Dude, Where's My Card? Stu likes that one too. My family and I really like to look at where our cards are going. And it's super fun for me to look at that. Now, I see an issue here, and I'm a little bummed by that because I did put a pin drop on every card that sold for my week, and I see they didn't all come through. Only the first one came through. So what I want to do is I really want to see if I can switch over and pull up another share maybe my screen on what I sold on those, because actually it's a little more impactful when you look at what I sold for the week, when you see all those pin drops on it. So I am going to flip over and share my screen on that slide. You will get a better image of that. So that's the technical part of this that, I'm still getting the hang of, but I should be able to share that pretty quickly here. Let's see. We'll go to slideshow, start from current slide, and we'll flip on over to the end. Boom, boom, boom. And there we go. And then we are going to share a window, and we will share this one. And let's see if that works for us here. There we go. So we were able to get all the pin drops in there. So again, dude, where's my card? Moving forward, I'm keeping track of this every week. To the left, you can see all the destinations that I sent cards to. I am here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You'll see the smiley face there in Green Bay. That's our home office here where we're sending everything out to. And pretty incredible when you look at it to see where are all your cards going. I will tell you, we talked about, I'd love to get one of those touristy maps. You know, when you go to those points of interest and you can put a little pin drop on where you're from and you're visiting there. That's kind of what I want to do here too. Get something on the wall because I think it's really cool. But you can see I sent some things pretty far away this week. I sent one to Hawaii, Kailua, Hawaii, and also one to Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico. We had a buyer this week. That is actually the second card I've shipped to Puerto Rico. I have had people tell me, hey, you can't use eBay standard envelope to Puerto Rico. It doesn't qualify. I would say that's false. This is the second card I've shipped eBay standard envelope. I've had no issues with that. In fact, crazy thing is the card I sold here, it got to San Juan, Puerto Rico, to the distribution center there faster than a lot of my inland cards. Now, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, so it is subject to the same services the federal government provides here in the United States. So the mail service does that, no extra charges, no reason you can't ship to Puerto Rico. So I think it's amazing that I've had two of them go to Puerto Rico already. But then you look, there's a lot going to the East Coast there, along the eastern seaboard from Delaware, Washington, D.C., all the way up to New York. And then we got some upstate New York and Vermont cards going out there. Where do we go to in Vermont? That's interesting to me. Milton, Vermont. I haven't really traveled up in the Northeast that far. I've been to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, DC, kind of gone through those areas on work at different times, but I've never gone really far up into the Northeast. I'd like to try that out sometimes. Headed over to the West Coast. We shipped some to California, Washington. What do we got out there? Pine Mountain Club, California. In Washington, what do we have? Bothell, Washington, just north of Seattle. I sell quite a few cards out to the Phoenix and surrounding areas. This week it was a Chandler, Arizona. Some weeks I have multiple sales to that greater Phoenix area. Lots of Texas cards. Those I seem to have buyers every week in Texas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a hot spot for me. I don't know why, but you'll see in here we got Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Enid, Oklahoma. Had some multiple sales to those locations in Oklahoma. Texas, they go more around the Dallas area. Fort Worth, I see in there. Had a West Texas, Lubbock, Texas. Recently went there for work this year too. That was kind of a fun trip. And then a little bit of Arkansas, a little bit of Georgia, some Florida. I seem to get buyers in Florida every week. A couple North Carolina cards, Iowa and Minnesota, and special call out to Sedalia, Missouri. Saturday night, I had a 15-card order go to Sedalia, Missouri. Those are really the areas I'd like to grow in, getting those multi-card orders. That's kind of Adam's bread and butter over at the Dollar Box. And you probably heard us talking this past Wednesday on the live on Wednesday nights that, I'm still trying to get to that place where I do more multi-card orders. This was the biggest multi-card order I've had so far at 15. And the buyer sent decent offers on everything. I was able to accept all his offers. You get a big cost savings in shipping supplies and label costs, all of those things that you can pass on a little bit of that savings to the buyer when they're buying a volume like that. No different than at a card show, right? The more cards you buy, the more discounts you want to get from the dealer. So I hope you like the new segment on the show. I want to continue doing it. I'll reset this every week and see where my stuff is going. I think it's fun just to think about the reach of eBay. And occasionally you might see some international cards on this. I have sent a couple international cards. I probably won't have room on the map to put those, but I'll definitely get the names out there and maybe just put a pin drop up in the general direction. But that's really fun when you see some of those international sales as well. So hope you liked it this week. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that button, and give me a sub if you can. If you're new to this channel, Stu really appreciates you joining us this week. Hope to keep doing this every Sunday. Not sure what time every Sunday. It just depends on what's going on. This morning I got it out later than I had hoped. It's my wife's birthday tomorrow, and we had a situation this weekend. My kids called me up to the living room, and they said, Dad, the couch just sparked, and there was a puff of smoke. And so we had some power recliners on our couch, and it's a very old piece of furniture. The wife has been asking me for 2 years now, can we get some new living room furniture? And I keep saying, no, let's wait till the kids are older. We got dogs in the house all the time. Why get something new that's going to get beat up and damaged? But, the potential fire hazard kind of sold me this weekend. So this morning we went out shopping for a new living room set. The wife got me to drop a big chunk of change on some furniture. So we'll have that coming next weekend, but it delayed me getting this video done for today. But it'll be nice. When it gets here next weekend, Stu and I will be able to chill out. Right, Stu? So thank you for joining me. Hope to see you next time. Hope to continue doing a little more videos to show you the business I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Really appreciate you watching my videos. Really appreciate the comments I get. Don't be shy. Let me know. I had a really good comment from a viewer this weekend said, hey, it's just some friendly advice, but why don't you put your link to your store in your video description? It's easier to get to. Thank you very much. As a new content creator, I'm still learning a lot of these tips and tricks and standards and things like that. So hope you'll bear with me some more as I continue to try and get a little better at this and give you some entertaining content while also giving you some information you can use in your own businesses. But again, thank you for joining me. Enjoy the playoffs this weekend and look forward to talking with you some more in the week ahead.